What's up, Capoeira Nation? Welcome back to the Capoeira Experience Podcast. Thank you so much for coming back. Thank you so much for tuning in and keep listening to the Capoeira Experience and the experience of many people. And then, as I always say, we cannot be a community if we don't support each other. We're not part of this all together. I don't care group. I don't care styles. It's just we're not in the 80s anymore. So it's cool to grow all together and then help each other. So today I have a special guest all the way from the other side of the world than from where I am, and then I've been following him for a while and super fan of his capoeira, his work, and then now seeing his studio is even more fun because it's cool to see the growth of our capoeiristas and expanding all this knowledge of capoeira. So please let me introduce you to Contramestre Mascote. How are you doing, man?
I'm very good, man. Thank you so much for the invitation. And as I said before, thank you so much for this podcast. It's an amazing contribution.
Thank you.
Platform and really important. So thank you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I appreciate your time for, especially on a Sunday.
It's about the only time I have, though.
That's crazy. That's crazy. With all the classes, right, that you have during the week.
Also, all the classes. But actually, myself and my wife Joyce, we work together here. And 4 weeks ago, we opened our studio. This studio here, we've been here since December. But the front half of our studio only opened 4 weeks ago, which is a Brazilian street food cafe. So we're running a cafe full time, as well as the classes and everything. So, and we're in the first month, so we're very busy. But it's amazing. So we're very lucky. But
that's awesome, especially now that people after the pandemic, people are looking to try more stuff and see new stuff and just go different.
Totally.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Congrats.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Yeah, you own it. You own the business.
Yeah, we run it. Yeah, we run the business. Yeah, we own the business. Yeah, we have this space, so that we don't own the space. We run the space here. Yeah. But it's a brand new business. Like I said, we did a lot of food stuff, like most capoeiristas do at events and stuff. And we've done pop-ups, and we tried it a little bit at our old studio, but we didn't have the infrastructure. And then we found this space last year, and we've been planning for a whole year. Been working on the space for 6 months.
That's so cool,
we only managed to get the studio open in December, but then we managed it. We were hoping to have this front section open at the same time, but it took a lot longer. So 4 weeks ago we opened up the front, and so now we're a bit more focused, working in the business rather than trying to set it up, which is amazing. It's been very good. We've had a lot of positive response, so we're very happy.
That's so cool, man. That's so cool. I didn't know that. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Congrats on, and because it's a new venue and it takes a lot of work, especially at the beginning. And after that, it's 6 months, 1 year, is going to be so much better now.
Totally. Thanks, man.
Yeah, of course.
So Joyce is teaching in an event in Berlin this weekend, so she's not here, which is a shame because it'd be really nice. But I'm sure you contact her, you'll be able to do something with her at another stage.
Yeah.
But that's why I've got this afternoon free. I've just closed the cafe for the day, and I've got a couple of hours. So I thought, I remember you contacted me. It took me a while, mainly because when you contacted me, we were in the middle of this crazy move, and doing all we did a lot of the work ourselves. So we were like full-time plumbers, builders, electricians for the last.
That's so cool, man. That's awesome. It does it feel like a little bit when regard when you see the whole thing already done and you like, man, I made this.
It's a bit crazy. Yeah, it feels like we've been here for years, but we haven't, and it's still a bit surreal. Like we don't have many moments to reflect, but when we do, it's like it's amazing, super amazing, super amazing.
Turn around, or when you open the door, it's like, I built all this. It's so cool.
Well, I have to say, so equal amounts of enthusiasm and fear.
Yeah.
Like, why did we do this? Are we sure this is gonna work? Like,
that's true. Yeah. Having
we
that
ever
battle in your head all the time?
Yeah, like you said, it's business, so it's always a risk. 100%. And so we have equal amounts of fear and enthusiasm at the same time.
But looks like you guys are doing really good. Like we have a lot of students, and now with the cafe open, that's awesome, man.
We're hoping, we had a really good like, I know it sounds like a oxymoron, but we had a really good pandemic for us in comparison to others. Like,
Okay.
we were very active with online classes. And
So cool.
so we don't have a huge group, but we have our base that we have. We managed to keep on to quite a large percentage of students. But we
Nice.
were very active. Like we in fact, I found a lot of our capoeira students said to us that they did more capoeira during the pandemic online at home
Yeah.
and than otherwise, and including us. I think, especially the first lockdown, it was summer here in the UK,
Yeah.
and people felt like they just were at home training capoeira, like didn't have to run around to schools or to projects or to the studio
Yes.
or to events. So
Yeah.
in that sense, I think, it made everybody pull together. And then post pandemic, we were very, lucky because we have our own space. And
Yes.
so, I think if you were renting other spaces and all the other complications, some other places have only just started to do group classes this last year. But because we
Nice.
run our own business, we were able to make the decisions ourselves. So I think we're very lucky in that sense too, as well, because there was a
That's
lot of
so cool,
restrictions
man.
here
Yeah.
before
Oh
you
yeah.
could go back to group classes. It wasn't just like they opened up the doors and you could go back to capoeira. So,
So
but it
they
feels we're in the right direction now, right?
nice. That's yeah, yeah. And then yeah, I mean a lot of people had access just on one click for in you're in class. It was different. It was a challenge because you're not around people. It's not the same energy face to face. But I still
Totally.
keep my online classes. It's very accessible and helps a lot.
Yeah, we stream all of our classes now. So we were streaming twice a week, once a week. But now, because we have our event coming up, because we have some students who don't live in our city anymore, and
Oh,
they either they don't have capoeira where they are, or they want to keep connected. And so we have like orphans who have moved out
or
that, and so we have our event coming up, and so we're going to stream the whole event mainly for them. We have a few students in London, which is about 2 hours from Birmingham where we work, and so we try and keep that going, even if it's only a
okay.
few people. But they
Yeah,
really enjoy it. It's a really nice thing to see, unlike the first kind of online classes where it was just me in my house, you in your house.
yeah.
When you have like a whole studio of people and then you're following it from home, it's really a different experience. It's very cool, actually.
That's
Like a
so cool,
hybrid,
man.
we call it a hybrid class, right? Pretty much.
Yeah,
It's
online
very
and in
nice.
person. That's so cool, man.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
nice.
Before we start digging more into your work and what
Yeah, yeah.
you do, what is your social media so people can find you there and can follow you and just make sure they
Yeah,
follow that
cool.
because it's pretty cool content.
Yeah, so my personal social media is mascot underline CDOB.
Okay.
Um, then obviously my wife who works with me is Joyce. Yeah, she's online too. We also have a few different social medias for work, but that's my main one for me, mascot CDOB.
Nice, nice. Go ahead and follow there and then go see all those videos. It's really cool. I like all the moments that you do there. It's really, really cool, man.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks
yeah,
very
yeah, of
much.
course. And then do you have a website where people can find your classes
Yeah,
in
yeah. So
case they're around?
cdob.co.uk for the capoeira stuff.
Cool.
cdob.co.uk. All of our classes, our studios on there.
Nice, nice. Go ahead and check it out too. It's a pretty cool website, man. Yeah, I like it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I did the homework before I saw you.
Nice. Yeah, you've done your homework.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You've done the online stalking, right?
Yeah, that's that's true, pretty much, because that's how social media is, pretty much.
It's great though. Yeah, it's great. It's great. We
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to
no,
nowadays. We have to
super
be
helpful.
online.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And then you mentioned that you have an event coming up. Well, what is that event?
Yeah. So we run two events a year. We've just had one,
Nice.
which was to celebrate International Women's Day, which we've done Maria de Comporta for about, I think, 6, 7 years now. And then our batizado, our annual grading ceremony. We've been running that since 2010, but in
Nice.
2018, we celebrated 10 years of our work here in Birmingham. And we had a new event which we called Santa Maru Soil. Santa
Nice.
Maru Soil. It's based around a song I wrote, which I liked the idea of trying to go back into something well beyond all the kind of different names and groups. And Santa Maria is a place I've been to in Brazil, and it's a
Nice.
sort of it's the kind of closest thing I would say to you know, Mecca or something like that, you know, like a
Yeah.
visual place that people think, well, that's kind of where lots of things came from. Because I know people say Bahia, Salvador, Pelourinho.
Yeah.
Obviously, these are places we taught a lot, but Santa Amaro in the Recôncavo is a really small place. When you go there, it still exists in that sort of same
No way.
era, like at least when I went anyway.
Yeah.
So you feel like you literally gone into the past. A lot of like singers in Brazil sing about Santa Amaro. Caetano Veloso,
Yeah.
Maria Bethânia, a lot of them sing about it. A lot of samba and maculele. So Mestre Popó was from Santa Amaro, you know,
Yeah.
the guy who popularized maculele. So I like that. I like that kind of image. It kind of is quite neutral, but quite old. And so
That's so
we
cool.
run an event
I didn't know
about
that.
around that. This year we're running a whole week of cultural activities, and we're
Oh,
going to stream
cool.
them online as well. So it's the
Nice.
20th to the 26th of June. So it's next month.
Oh, it's coming up. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. So it's pretty much at the end of June.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. And then how you say you're streaming online, right?
So yeah, we're trying this for the first time this year. So we haven't
Okay.
figured out how we're going to manage that. It's mainly for our students, like I said, but
Yeah.
obviously if people contact us, we're always trying to accommodate if anybody wants to follow the event online, but it'll be mainly just in the corner, like watching and stuff. Because
Oh,
we can't edit or anything. We just, you can see most, when we put the video here, you can see most of what the activities are going on.
okay.
So yeah, we would be happy to stream it. Mainly the classes during the week. Obviously, the batizado and the hard is hard to stream, but
Yeah.
we'll try and do our best to make it accessible.
Nice. Nice. And then do you by streaming you saying that you're going to stream the event or people are able to do classes or things like that?
So as I said, we have students in London. They're about 2 hours from here,
Makes
so they're
sense. Okay,
working,
that's
right?
right.
So because we have our own studio, what we're trying to do this year is move away from the old weekend festival, you know, where you try and
Oh,
cram in everything in 3 days or 2.5 days. You barely speak to anybody. People travel from all over the place. And so we wanted to like level that out and have more time. But at the same
nice.
reason, our two guests, which is Mestre Espinho and Contramestre Mordaça, they're from South Africa. They're from Brazil, but they live in South Africa in Cape
So
Town,
cool.
and they're
That's
very
so
close
cool.
to me and Joyce. We like best friends, brothers and sisters. So they've organized their lives to come for a week. So we really wanted to make the most of they're going to be here for a week. They have such a
Wow.
lot of knowledge that we want to capitalize on, but
Yeah.
also we want to spend more time with our students because we want them to get to know them. So
Oh
we're
yeah.
trying
Oh
to
yeah.
spend a lot more and there's so many things to do. That's the problem. Like just capoeira is one weekend, but then obviously there's Samba de Roda, Maculele, Jongo, and these
Oh, I
guys
love
in South
jungle.
Africa, they have connections with stuff that me and you have never heard of before. They're doing a lot of research. They did a performance recently connecting all the different routes they could find for the birimbau,
Oh
for all
really?
the
Oh
different stuff.
cool.
It's really cool what they're doing there, man. Really cool. Really
Oh
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
I would love to reach out to them and see to
Yeah,
squeeze
you
a little bit
should.
of
You definitely should.
the brain, and
Definitely should.
that's
Yeah.
awesome, man. That's awesome. Let's exchange some information there at the end of the
Yeah,
podcast.
cool. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then we can also promote what they do, and that's awesome, man. Because there's
Yeah,
no
they're very cool guys. They're very nice.
that's awesome. Because we don't have we have access, but it's on the internet is so much information about many things, and then
Yeah.
sometimes the information can get lost in translation
And
or
not everyone's big on the internet still. Like I said, our generation, like these guys, they don't like that much social media and stuff like that. Like I wasn't on social
oh
media for a while. Like I've always been on Facebook, always been very
yeah
active on Facebook. I wasn't on Instagram for years properly. Like everyone told you have to be in every platform.
yeah
And then I went to India in 2018, and a guy who invited me, Baba, is a really good friend of mine in India, in Mumbai. He was like filming stuff from the event and saying, "Oh, what's your Instagram?" So I could promote it. And I was like, "Oh, it's this." And he was like, "But you haven't posted anything for like so long." And I was like, at that point, I was like, "Okay, I should probably start to use it." And I did, but it wasn't until, like I said, the first lockdown 2 years ago that we were
okay
all stuck at home, and that became my lockdown project. I did some research and I figured out, okay, this is how it works. So I've spent 2 years doing, and now I'm super active. I annoy my wife all the time using
can you make a
Instagram and
video
doing
for
all
me?
that kind of stuff, and it's boring as hell.
Yeah
but it's been quite a positive response, and it's unfortunately that's the world we live in. If you don't document yourself,
Yeah.
if you're not out there, people don't know you exist. And I kind of feel it's a bit like how I was in the harder for many years. Like I was very
Yeah.
happy to go to a harder and not play because I didn't feel the necessity
That's
to
true.
play, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Just watching, especially in Brazil, and it took me a lot of time to kind of push myself to the point where I played too much and didn't let anybody else play. And then now I feel like I got the balance right. But
Nice.
it's quite interesting if you don't go and play in the harder. Like some master said this to me recently. It's like if you want to be seen, you have to play. You have to be there, right? You know, and it
100%.
took me
Yeah.
a long time personally to get to that point where it's like, okay, yeah, no, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. So
That's awesome. And man, you grew up so to what 2019? You kind of like started being a little more like active on social media.
basically, I started it properly. The first lockdown, so COVID was 2020, right?
To yeah, here in the US was like at the
Bit
end
before,
of
nah.
20,
I can't
2019.
remember. I think, yeah, whenever it was, maybe it was 19. It
Yeah.
seems like, yeah. Basically, the first time I was locked at home, that's when I started daily
Yeah.
posting and then realizing you have to do a few a week to get any kind of traction and stuff.
Yeah.
So it feels like 2 years of work, basically. Yeah.
Man, but you grew up pretty quick because it was like from a little followers to what you have probably like over 12K or something like that followers. That's so
Well, it's close. Yeah. I don't like numbers like that, but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's nearly 40K now.
That's
40K.
so cool, man.
Yeah, crazy.
It's
Absolutely
it's
crazy.
it's well you mentioned something about like to get some traction you have to post very often. But I heard
Yeah.
somebody
That's quite, I feel like I'm not an expert, right? But
yeah,
this is
yeah.
quite funny that we're having a capoeira interview and I'm talking about the ins and outs of using Instagram. I don't know. For me, I've found that, yeah, if you're not active, there is something about the algorithm that doesn't pick up or
Yeah,
people
push
don't
you to
see
the
you.
back.
Yeah, there's quite a few things you have to do, really. I don't know if I'm an expert, and unfortunately, there's lots of
Yeah.
experts
Yeah,
online, right? So,
true. Yeah.
but I definitely found that when I started doing it more often, and I started to actually spend time on it, and like think about what I'm doing rather than just post.
Yeah.
So you have to find your own like. It has to be something you want to do, but
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, like the main motivation for me was as soon as I got onto social media, and I'm talking about Instagram because Facebook I was on years ago and it's a very
Okay.
different thing. But when I started to go on Instagram and I suddenly found loads of people with loads of traction, loads of people seeing them, and I'd never seen this side of them because I'd never been on Instagram before.
Yeah.
And what motivated me the most was how little people were representing capoeira and
Yeah.
how much there was other people doing capoeira moves and calling it other things and getting a lot more like visibility. So I kind of felt really motivated to be like, no, I'm going to do this for capoeira. Like
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
build up a platform because so, and then even for like our style of capoeira that we work, I felt like there wasn't that many people in our kind of group who were interested in doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's loads, but I kind of feel like everybody should be up there. There's so many amazing capoeiristas,
A
and I
lot
felt
of
like,
capoeiristas.
you know,
Yeah.
it's really important all of us are up there because we have to compete with other stuff, right?
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Oh yeah.
capoeira has to compete with so many things sometimes.
Yeah. 100%.
Um, that was my main motivation anyway.
Yeah, but that's cool because it's funny that you mentioned about the consistency of posting and not being there like daily, like you said. And I remember somebody told me one day, oh, I heard I love audiobooks, and I heard in the audiobook it's just like if you don't post enough, it's like throwing a bucket of water in the ocean. Just like
Totally,
you're not gonna fill up. It's just like
totally,
it's,
totally,
nothing.
absolutely.
You're not gonna make a difference if you don't just a bucket or just one rock on the in the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I want to pull it back to the world of capoeira. Like I find it's a good message. Consistency is a good message. So
Oh yeah, 100%.
you talked about audio books and stuff. One of the people I really outside of capoeira that I really like is a guy called Simon Sinek. I don't know if you've
Yes.
heard of him. Yeah,
Start with white. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, I have the book.
he's a big inspiration for me because he puts into words a lot of things that I feel are very capoeira concepts,
Yeah.
but he's putting them into the business world, right? And so that's really I think, a really important thing, because he's all about optimism, first of all, which is totally capoeira. He's all about starting with your cause, your why, your purpose.
Yes.
But at the same time, he's about consistency rather than intensity. And one of the ones he did, like a TED talk once, I think it was an TED anime. You have to try and find it. It's very good. But basically, he does a short speech. I'll try and give it justice, about brushing your teeth. And it's like saying, developing stuff, consistency rather than intensity is like brushing your teeth. It's like how many days could you go without brushing your teeth before your teeth fall out? I don't know. Can you miss one day? Yeah. Can you miss two? Yeah, it's fine. But you know that you have to brush them as much as possible daily to have healthy teeth, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But it doesn't matter if you miss a day. It doesn't matter if and I think with the capoeira practice, it's the same. Like, it's like brushing your teeth. You have to do it regularly. How many times a week? Well, as many as you can if you want really healthy, good capoeira.
That's
but
true.
It doesn't matter if sometimes, oh my goodness, scandal. Sometimes we don't brush our teeth, but that's okay, right? It doesn't mean you never, like this idea that, you stopped for a while and then you're never going to go back to brushing your teeth. You lose your toothbrush, 100%. Or, you forget it and you're on a trip. You go and buy a new one, you get on with it, And so I think it's a really good analogy.
I love that. I love that. I'm gonna find it
find it, because it would be better to use his words than mine.
Oh yeah. And then now coming back to your event. So I have another episode where I mentioned that it's so important for us, especially for us that organize events, to have insurance from the capoeira community to register. Of course, we'll have the student base, and then we always make sure that students register first, so we can have like a cushion there for us to buy tickets and to buy all this kind of stuff. Then it's just like I think we need to change the perspective of capoeirista registering at the very last minute.
Totally. No, totally.
People, I don't think people understand how much anxiety that creates.
Totally. I agree with you 100%. So just to kind of talk about the way we run things here in terms of events. So I think it's really difficult to make a judge. I don't know anything about the American scene. You're in America, right? I didn't even ask where you are. Sorry. Where are you based?
Indianapolis, US.
Indianapolis. Cool.
Yeah.
My dream as an English, I'm English, yeah. As an English guy who grew up watching the 1980s and 1990s films, and like my dream is to go to America and see everything. We live in the bubble, we live in the shadow of America a lot here in the UK. There's culture and stuff. So it's really cool. And I know lots of people out there, we've met lots of guys. So I don't know that much about the capoeira scene, but I've obviously heard from third person. But I imagine America's a big place, right? So I don't know how many people support each other in local groups, or whether you kind of fly people over from all over the place. But here in Europe, because I've obviously done capoeira here 20 years in Europe, so it's very easy to get cheap flights. Yeah, so you've got like lots of cheap flights for people to come. And so it's even worse sometimes, because people can make a last minute decision to come to your event. We're talking BC, before COVID, yeah?
Yeah.
Because now it's totally different. But one of the things that we always used to do, like in the beginning of our work, and I think it's nothing to do with capoeira, it's to do with people, but obviously capoeira, we deal with people, right? We're service industry. So we're serving people. There are, our students, our customers, our clients, our friends, but we have to try and get that balance of working with people, right?
100%.
And so we always try to accommodate. Like we for years, you would do everything possible to bend over backwards to allow people to participate, right? And I'm talking not just in events, in classes too. And the biggest lesson we learned is to limit yourself and make boundaries and stick to them. So this is as much in events as in classes, because otherwise it's going to detriment the person's experience. 100%. So in an event, if they book too late and there's nowhere for them to stay, they have to get a hotel. We tell them straight away, if you want accommodation, we have this many spaces. First come, first serve, then you sort yourself out. We do like different prices. But the way we run our events is very different now. and obviously before, we don't really rely on a lot of people from other groups. We try and focus on our group and try and do a finite group, and then we hope lots of people come to visit.
Yeah.
And if they come, we try and be as accommodating as possible.
Nice.
But with our students, we're like, if you don't register, we're very hard. Like, if you don't register, we won't do it. We have to organize in advance.
Yeah.
You know, you try and do some penalties if people book too late, because it's impossible. Like you said,
yeah.
If you've got to order, 100 t-shirts, or you've got to, organize everything, book a space. Because the other thing about the UK is we have lots of problem. We used to, before this studio, finding space for events. So if you've got 30 people, you would need one size of space. If you've got 50, it's another. If you've got 100, it's another. And in the UK, it's expensive to rent space. And you don't want to rent a hall for 100 people and only 30 people turn up. So
man, it sounds such a loss.
Yeah, that was really hard for years. Totally.
Yeah, because it's the same. Like I always, because my wife always helps me to run and organize events and all that. And then last weekend we had a small workshop here for the Capoeira community where I live is pretty small. We're very far apart on distance, like 2, 3, 4 hours, 5 hours drive, and then of course they gotta drive here.
Mm-hmm.
But we had people registered at the door, and I was like, oh my god, like we on paper on internet we had probably like 10 people register, and it ended up like being probably like 22, 23, and then half of them register at the last minute.
Yeah.
And I was like, Jesus, how can this be possible? Good thing, like I already paid for the space and I already paid for the person and the ticket. So with my students, I already paid for all the stuff. And then I was like, man, just like so much anxiety. And then especially for Bachizado, that is bigger, more people, you got to pay the cachet for more people and all that. It's just like, man.
It's a hard job. We have a hard job, right? I don't know anything about your work, but just you're saying the same things. It's bringing back a lot of like memories and emotions. Like, it's hard because for two reasons. One, we love what we do.
100%,
and we want it to go amazingly well and successful, and so we'll do anything in our power to bend ourselves. But then the more we do that, the more we sacrifice, the worse it is. So getting that, like I said, boundaries are so important, because if you always allow your students, let's talk about your students rather than other people's, if you always allow them to arrive late, to book late, to do whatever, they get into a mindset that's okay in capoeira, that's okay to turn up. And then ultimately it leads to either you getting tired or for you to not be able to provide the service that you want, or not do the event that you want to do for them.
True.
So if I don't know if what we do is successful, but I can definitely say that what we're doing is better than we did before.
Nice.
And I think one of the secrets was not allowing people to decide how we run stuff. You say, this is what we do. If you want it, take it or leave it. And having a structure that you know is going to have the best experience for them. For example, when we started our studio, before studios, it's very hard to introduce beginners to capoeira. If you've got once or twice, 2 classes a week, let's say, and then you're there teaching your class for your students who've been training you for 10 years, and then a beginner turns up late to the class, joins in, and you're like, well, I don't want to send this person away because I want them to do capoeira. But at the same time, they're going to die, or the rest of my students are going to fall asleep. So it's a real hard balance. So for years, you just accommodate. But once we had our space, we were like, no, we're going to have 2 days a week for beginners, and you cannot start on another day. You have to start on your day.
Okay.
And this became something that we then started to do, like a 6-week course or a 10-week course. It's like, no, you're going to do this like an intro series.
Okay.
But now what we do is we have 2 classes a week that are always basic stuff.
Nice.
Other people can join, but we never make it complicated. And people walk through the door and we say, look, we don't do first class free. You can drop in and do a class, but you have to put in your head that we can't do anything for you in less than 2 months.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think it's so important that communication, you know, people come to you, you need to say to them, I'm not going to teach you anything in one class.
Yeah, no,
don't expect it.
Especially
it's impossible. You know, it's like, it's not going to happen. So
Yeah.
put it in your head 2 months. And then when you change the dynamic that, you're saying, well, this is what it is. If they don't want to come, good. Because, you can't do anything with them.
Yeah. And then you start filtering the people.
Yeah, because if somebody wants to learn, they've got to have at least a couple of months commitment. You can't do anything with anybody in
100%.
less time than
100%.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And then how far apart do you organize your events?
So, because we do two, we organize them well in advance. But
Nice.
nowadays it's
Nice.
very difficult, right, to know what we're going to do.
True.
And obviously we have this other business running at the same time. But we run two a year. We always think, oh, should we run two? Should we only do one event a year? We do a third one, which is more like an end of year gathering with my students. It's just me, Joyce, and the students. We do like a training weekend.
Oh, nice.
Of workshops, just the two of us. And really, we just try and feel how the students are doing, right? If we feel like, oh, we're oversaturating people, then we will wait and push things forwards. But we've got quite good structure now that we know what we need to do in certain time frames.
Nice.
And we know sorts of the things you have to organize. And we try and keep things very regular, like I said before, like almost always the same dates as well. So
it makes it easy for people to organize.
That helps a lot.
If your students, like, they know that in June is the event, so they don't have to book anything around that time, like trips or anything like that. Because usually, are the vacations in the UK around June?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Like July, June is school holidays, 6 weeks. Like the last 2 weeks of July and the whole of August is like big holidays here. So.
And is it like everything's empty, like all the schools and?
Yeah, pretty much. Or you risk that people are away on holiday somewhere.
Yeah, so
half of my students are in Indianapolis having a holiday.
Well, especially like the 500 here. Have you ever heard of the 500?
No, I haven't. No.
That's a race, and then that's a like Indianapolis icon stuff.
Of course. No, I have. Yeah, no, I remember now. Yeah.
Huge race, and here in the US that happens here in Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing here for really cool Indianapolis and Capoeira now.
Totally, right? I'll be sending them your way, definitely.
Nice. So then that way you can tell your students and be like, hey, June at this time, don't do anything. Make sure every year is going to be at this time.
Totally. I mean, obviously, it sometimes changes a little bit, but they know roughly, and then we try and give them as much notice. At least we get the date out there super early, and then we get them to book, and send them information.
Yeah.
So we try as organized as you can.
Nice,
right?
Nice. Because also like the I like to call it procrastination, okay? Because these are the very last minute of registering at the last minute. Also starts from the leadership, right? From who is organizing events and all that.
Yeah.
So I think it's good for us to like also organize and show and post the dates 6 months in advance at least, and then that way people, because I also have seen events that they come up a month before, and it's just like, man, I got work, or some people got kids, and then vacations, and like if we keep organizing and we show the non-procrastination part, and then hopefully we can change that. And then
this is really cool, because like it for us, right, teach professionals, it's very rare to share like the inner workings of like the organs of the capoeira. Like we're often just showing the outside, and so this is for students, this must be like, what are they talking about, what are they going on about?
Exactly.
But for professionals, this is so important, right? Because
100%.
we need like, I don't want to be like egotistical, but we are important. Like we if we weren't dedicating our lives to doing this, if it wasn't our job, then with the bone structure for capoeira, in order for 100%. Students to be able to do it, someone like us needs to be dedicating our time, our money, our health often to do this sort of stuff. So if it's any help, like what we've managed to do, like I said again, is about boundaries. But I don't like the term rules, because rules are a bit too but rigid. I think what's really interesting is capoeira is always a balance, right? It's never finite. What we get is some groups like to have everything written down, and there's rules and regulations, and you have to do this, and you do this, and you do that, and you do this, and don't ask questions, just do as you're told. And that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's very organized and
Yeah.
everything works well. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing to do.
Yeah.
But then you have other groups who do the complete opposite. It's all just whatever you want. Capoeira's freedom, and then even in the practice, it's like that.
Yeah.
We don't have to be one or the other, right? We can have a middle ground. And I
100%.
think our middle ground that we try and manage is we have really strict boundaries so that people know, but then we make exceptions, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody comes because they weren't going to come and then something cancelled and so suddenly they can come, we don't want to not let them come to the event and join in or to the class. And so if there was a legitimate reason, you make a legitimate kind of, okay, I'm going to make an exception to the
Yeah.
rule. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
cool. And then the
Exactly.
person feels
Exactly.
really privileged that you did that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's just that balance between you have to have clear structure, but also you have to have agency. It's what we call a dichotomy, right? Structure and agency is like yin and yang, polar opposites. Like
Yeah.
they call it a
Yeah. That.
dichotomy. Yeah. So structure, you have to have it. We all, in everything we do, we have to have it, but it has to be flexible structure. You can't
Yeah.
be
Yeah. For sure. Too
hardcore,
rigid, like too rigid and like
Yeah, it's
military.
people's
It's this
hobby.
way.
They don't.
Yeah.
They've got hardcore structure at work. They don't need it
Yeah.
later
That's
too.
true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, at the end of the day, you put on your website that you need a place where people like express themselves. I forgot the exact wording, but where they feel good coming to class, and then it's just
Yeah,
like a welcoming place for people to feel good, to express, to move, and just to have fun, man. Like,
totally. I mean, that's
yeah.
what I tried to do. That mission statement, Simon Sinek thing, man.
Oh yeah,
that was trying
Pasuki.
to be. That was trying to be our why. Why capoeira? Why are
Yeah,
we trying to do this? And I think
yeah,
it's true, especially in the UK. We're not very sporting. Like Olympic sports, we're good, but the regular English person is not like that into like doing stuff. It's very relaxed. It's not that valued in schools. We work a lot in schools. So we wanted to find a place they could do that. And often some people have no physical background whatsoever. They don't have any hobbies. And
yeah,
so they're not sporting. So we wanted to have a good structure to introduce people to that.
yeah, hundred
But at the
percent.
same time, we want to allow the crazy acrobatic, super hardcore fitness guy or girl to train too. I think the secret is, like I said, if you have the wide enough lens in terms of the way you manage stuff,
Yeah,
you'll have something for everybody. But
100%.
again,
Yeah,
at the same time, knowing your limitations and telling people your limitations. Because it's
that's a
not
good point.
weak
Yeah,
to
that
tell people, I
communication
can't
part.
do that for you.
Yeah,
That's not possible. And that's the best thing to do because then you create honesty with people. They feel safe. They ask for stuff. You say, no, I can't do that. And we the other thing we do here a lot is innately, I'm a very stupid person. I like to joke all the time. So if there's an awkward situation, I just joke about it,
yeah,
and just
same.
I prefer for me to be the clown and them to laugh at me, and then
Yeah,
they feel better than like put myself. I don't want people to feel bad, even if they're
yeah,
frustrated. I want them to laugh about it, and I think it's that balance. I think there's many masters and masters that I find inspirational in that sense that get that balance between scary teacher, but also a funny, hilarious person who you feel like really close to.
yeah,
So I think
yeah,
we try and get that balance.
yeah, yeah, for
Between me
sure.
and Joyce, we try and get that balance.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end is I used to have that teacher, where would you get to class, nobody talk, let's go do this, and then if you like kind of like mumbling a little bit words with somebody, and then hey, one class, and and then it becomes like too rigid, and it's just like, oh man, I don't want to go to that class. Then, but also can talk too much because and then you get loose, and then it's like that nice balance of like you said is I like
Yeah,
that you joke a little bit around,
yeah.
and but we
I
gotta
mean,
keep moving.
you guys have amazing history in America. Like you've got some amazing masters like Mestre Cordial, Mestre John Grange,
Yes, Mr. Miguel.
like and so like Mestre Cordial is a big inspiration for me being English, speaking English, because before I spoke Portuguese, he was the first person who put any words about capoeira rather than my teacher watching
Yeah,
his videos and stuff. And I've met
that's
him many
so cool,
times
man.
and he's like next level human being, right? He's next level person.
Yeah,
But he said in one of his early documentaries since like 2000 something when I saw that he was like, he just wants to present capoeira in all of its aspects, right?
100%. Yeah.
And so if you just present it in, including the negative, right? Including the
Oh
negative
yeah. Oh yeah.
aspects, then I feel like what would be best is if people presented capoeira outside of themselves a bit more. That's my
Yeah.
personal opinion, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're just presenting something, you're the person responsible for it, but you don't own it. It's not, you don't have to be everything.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
100%.
Nowadays, it's so difficult for capoeira teachers who want to be something. Because
Yeah.
if you want to be the best at something, you're gonna struggle
Yeah.
because like, oh, I
Yeah.
want to be the most acrobatic capoeirista, and then you see my friend Chico on the internet, and I'm like, okay, you make me feel like I'm terrible because you're the most ridiculous acrobat I've ever seen, and you're good at capoeira. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, but no, I want to be the best person on the berimbau, and then you see Mascote when he was younger doing ridiculous like
Yeah.
variations.
Crazy
Like, okay,
stuff. Yeah.
he was better than I am in the 70s. It's like, okay, I want to be the best singer, and then you see Messi Joel singing like I can't even get that high. Messi Joel, it's ridiculous. So you're not if you've got like, and now it's all out there. Like there's the person to play the binimbao, there's the person to play the horn. So I think if you just get it off yourself and just be like, well, I'm just presenting capoeira in the best way I can, try and
Yeah. Yes.
enjoy what you're doing. Students respect that. They don't want
100%.
you to be the best, right? They just want to enjoy themselves and they want to learn. And I think that's a really healthy thing to do.
Oh yeah.
Separate yourself from it.
Oh yeah, 100%. And then now to wrap it up, what would be a single advice for the capoeira community and just in general, for like as a capoeirista?
That's hard. That's a big responsibility, right? I,
Yes.
I think it depends on the people, but obviously students need to be patient. They need to be patient, and teachers need to be more patient.
Yes. 100%. Yeah.
And I think so. Time is everything, right? Like you said at the beginning, for us, it's about consistency, communication, clarity. Because if you have those things in place, and if you, I always say to my students that our teacher said, Mes said, nobody ever died from training too much.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So just train, like practice something, apply yourself, be patient, and it's impossible that you won't improve. But if you have a finite, again, but Simon said, if you have a finite idea instead of an infinite or an infinite idea,
Yeah.
then it's not going to happen. Capoeira is an infinite game, right? It's an infinite thing. So if you try and apply metrics to it, you're going to fail. Or worse, you're going to succeed.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to
Which is the
achieve your
goal,
metric,
right? Yeah.
right? So the best thing is to be patient, give yourself time, but apply yourself. Effort is everything. Like, be enthusiastic, be stupid, be over enthusiastic. It's always better to do more than do less because you can always reduce. Don't get worried if you get injured. That's completely normal. Don't be worried about pain or frustration because they're normal. And the more you get used to them, the better you can handle them. That's what I would say.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like driving, right? The is moments where you're like super stressful times, but once and then you drive and it's just like it becomes like I know how to do this.
Totally.
Or business like too, like like when you go through the rough time and then something becomes easy and then you're like, oh, it's actually not that bad.
Totally. Context everything. Like,
Yeah.
none of us would have complained about, anything before the pandemic, but now it's really given us a lot of context of what the important things are, right?
Oh yeah.
And I think
Adapted very well.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's what I love when I spoke about like Mestre Cordial, Mestre Grande, old masters now that and masters when you see them is because they were older than us, right? They've been through it all, especially if they're full-time capoeira teachers.
Oh yeah.
So they for them it's just, we say in England, it's like water off a duck's back. It's just normal. Somebody tries to push them in the hard or whatever, they're just so many people have done that before. A student gets upset with them, it's just another student getting upset, or a student moves away. Once you've been through it a few times, you get used to it, and then you can actually apply some thought as to how am I going to stop happening that more often.
Oh yeah,
that's
100%.
what it is really.
Yeah, because you build the muscles and then you get used to
it. Totally.
Yeah. And what is your social media again so people can find you there?
Yeah, cool. It's Mascote _CDOB.
Nice. And then the website so people, if they're around,
and it's the cdob.co.uk.
Nice. Awesome. Well,
Cool.
man, thank you so much. Thank you so much for.
That's all right, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I know you're pretty busy. You're gonna get probably you could probably got like 10 more minutes.
No, I can stay as long as today. You got me on the one day I'm free, so it's fine.
Nice.
Don't worry.
Okay,
But I
perfect.
appreciate it, and I know it's early over there too, and it's a Sunday, so
It's all good. It's all good. Thank you so much for your time,
thank you, man.
Eventually we'll do it again, and we'll
Yeah,
do
of
it
course. That'd be cool.
after your event, so we can talk about your event too.
That would be cool, man. That'd be a privilege.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Take care. Bye.
Hey, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being part of this episode one more time. And thank you so much for being part of the Capoeira community. I'm very happy you made it all the way to the end. Now, make sure you listen to the next episode next week or the following week or the previous episodes. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram. And don't forget to reach out so we can have you on the podcast. Okay. Thank you so much for being part of this amazing journey in the Capoeira community. And I really, really hope to see you one time here in Indianapolis, or I'll see you in the hot next time. Okay. Keep training, keep your Capoeira school, keep supporting your Capoeira school, and keep training, keep loving Capoeira, keep training, keep playing the Hoda. I'll see you in the Hoda next time. Peace.